Hi geeks, it's Jenny here. Alright, today I'm going to walk you through how to add a new page to your website. So I've just logged into my website here and I'm just going to click on the edit button as usual. Did I actually click on that? No, I did. Now just bear with me because if this is the first video you've watched, for some reason my browser has a little bit of challenge with my recording software, so sometimes things don't always work well. I've got to do a few clicks, but that's why. Okay, so I'm in my website here and I've decided I want to add a new page. So I'm going to come over to pages here. Okay, now what we can do is we can either just go like a new page, sorry, I'm losing my voice again. Or we can actually copy one of our existing pages. Now, for today's purposes, what we're going to do is actually copy an existing page because what we want is for is for all our formatting and everything, all the layouts that we've done to come through. So if we add a new page, we'll still have like our menu and our header and our footer and things like that, but we won't have any of this in the middle of this kind of formatting, these sections that we've put in. So let's just say that we want to add another page to this About Me section. So that About Me, we actually have the header page, and underneath that on the menu, you can see if I hover over here, we've got what I do, how I do it, who I do it for. So let's just assume that we want to replace one of these pages, or we're actually going to create a new page. So what we do, you can actually see the menu actually in the pages works the same as it does actually on your menu. So you can see anything that has a sub menu has this little arrow. So anything that doesn't have the arrow doesn't have a sub menu. So as you can see, I kind of hover on these and that's just the menu. They don't have anything else. But when I hit this About Me, I can see I've got sub menus there, and that's represented by this little arrow. So to see the pages under that, we just click on the arrow and then these pages are here. So let's just say I want to copy this What I Do. So in this is the layout that I like. So I've got the header, I've got my different sections with the images on kind of rotating side to side, and I want to do another page very similar to this. So all I really want to do is kind of replace the content. So that's why I'm going to copy this page. So what I do is I click on the little settings icon here and I click duplicate. So, and then by default, it's kind of call it copy of whatever your page is. And I'm just kind of call it new about page because I don't know what else to call it, and duplicate. Okay, so now you'll see it's straight away in here. It always adds new pages to the bottom. So what we want to do for now is, excuse me, oh dear, there's that yawning. Okay, what we want to do is actually hide this in navigation while we work on it. So why I'm doing that is I'm just going to hide in navigation on the little settings cog, hide in navigation, hide on all. Now you can see here it is up here because it's at the bottom of this list. So it's the end of this list. So as this goes down, so it goes across. So it just automatically puts it as a new page there. So I'm going to hide it in navigation. So you can see it disappears there. So what that means is I could be working on this page and I can have 2/3 of it done, and then I put a new blog post up and I want to publish my site, I want to republish my site. I can do that knowing that this is only half built and no one's going to find it because it's not going to be in the navigation. So unless they actually had the URL to this page, they wouldn't be able to navigate to it. So that's what you normally tend to do. And that's what these little symbols here mean. So that means this, like the links I use, cookie policy, terms of use, and the small print, they are all available via links in my footer, but because I've hidden them in navigation, it means you can't see them in this main navigation. So when it says hide in navigation, it means this top menu bar here. So you can see, oh, sorry, I just have to get out of that. You can see if I scroll all the way down the bottom of the page, you can see that they're still all available here from these links here because I actually manually made those, but it just means they're not available in this navigation at the top. So unless you've manually made a link for this new page, it won't be navigable, so no one will be able to find it. So that's always my first suggestion. Once you copy a page, is actually go in and actually hide it in navigation. And then it doesn't matter if you're publishing blog posts or you're putting your image up or whatever else you're doing, you're not going to get caught with a half-built page, which is, pretty tragic in the end of it. Okay, now the next step that I suggest you do is before you do anything with your content is come in here to the settings cog and go to SEO. We're going to go to SEO here. Now, any of these is going to open. This is all like the URL, the description, this is all in there. So if you click on this, that they're all, apart from the password, this page URL and the rename, they're all actually in this same kind of page. It just depends where it loads. I normally just press SEO because it's just a habit. So what you want to do here is this is the page URL. So this is the, geekqueen.com.au / see it says a new about page. So you can change this here and just remember your URL needs to be reasonably short, and it's better if it's what it's called a meaningful URL. So it's better if it actually describes what the page is. So I wouldn't call it new about page, but I might put, what do I do? Who do I do it for? How I do it? Tools I use, for example, or might be resources I use. Sources I use. Now it doesn't matter if you put capitals in here or not, it will lowercase it all, so it doesn't matter. And don't use underscores in between the words, use hyphens, okay? And don't do it all together, because you can see what does that say? Nothing. It's just indecipherable. Yeah. Resources lose. Yeah, it could be anything. So if you want it to be words, split it with a hyphen, okay? Always a hyphen, never an underscore. It won't supremely matter, and some software will just automatically change it, but it's just HTML good practices now to use hyphens. And you can see, because I've got the hyphens in there, it is very apparent what the page is. It's resources I use, okay? Or it might be resources I recommend, or tools I recommend, or it could be anything like that. Now you can see your page over here is still called the same here. So when we're going to rename that in a minute, but this is the URL is actually what appears up here. So it would be geekqueen.com / resources I use. Okay. Now your SEO, your SEO is always, this section, but you never ever turn off the no index. You always want search engines from indexing every page, so don't turn that off. There is, of course, circumstances you would, but honestly, they're few and far between and quite technical in reasons. So yeah, as a default, don't turn that off. And then this is your page title. Now your page title is what appears in your tab in your browser. Now you're not going to be able to see the tabs in my browser, but so the tab is a little bit that sticks up the top of your browser. So, and you can see by default, the standard I've used is Geek Queen and then this pipe. And the pipe is actually, if you look on your keyboard underneath the backspace, above the enter key, there's a pipe, which is the up and down one, and then there's actually a backslash. So it's just shift and you'll get the pipe, okay? And it's actually called a pipe, and that, like I say, is also HTML best practices. So it's a good idea to separate who you are from what you're describing your page. Now, we may not have necessarily established this format. A lot of people, if they're actually, this is where you can use your keywords as well. So in here, I might put, this is Geek Queen, this is resources I use, so I might put tools and resources. This isn't actually probably a really good page that I've created, because it's not anything that's really strong with SEO, so it's a bit hard to explain. But yeah, so if you were making a, let's say you're a wedding planner and you're making a new like a product, let's just say you have packages. Let's just say you have packages. So you have, your gold, silver, and bronze packages. This was a new packages. So you might have ABC Web Planner, gold package, for luxury, and I can't type, weddings. Okay, so by kind of default, you're saying it's your gold package, so people are looking for your gold package, they'll find it. But you've also said that obviously gold is your highest level and it's for luxury weddings, so you're kind of making use of your keywords there as well. So if you can see what I mean. So typically, most formats take your brand or business name, keyword 1, keyword 2. That's typically what they take. Don't go too crazy with this though. Like if you kind of make it too long, it kind of defeats the purpose anyway, because it is what people see in the tab in your browser. So you do want it to be identifiable. So I wouldn't, for that example, put luxury weddings first, because otherwise they're going to see that before your goal package, and if they're just kind of clicking on tabs, it's not going to be what they're looking for. So just be a little bit careful with how you do that. And then you do your page description. This is your meta description. This is what it appears for Google searches. So when someone searches for something and you see you have that URL, and then underneath it like a small paragraph of a description of the page, that's what this page description is. So this is you're not only writing this to use your keywords and your long tail phrases. What you're actually also doing is writing this to get people to click. So you're explaining what the page is in short, sharp terms, using the keywords and phrases that you associate with this page, or you think your clients are going to associate with this page. So that's what you're putting in here. The keywords, they literally don't matter anymore. They don't use it. You can put keywords in there, but it's not going to make one iota difference to anything. So, my philosophy, don't waste time on stuff you don't need to. You could password protect the page if you wanted to. If it had, for example, if it was a page of URLs to links for your employees, for example, so information links for them that you don't want your clients to see, you just password protect it and no one can get in there without a password. Header HTML, that's not something you do, so just leave that alone. So that's where you would actually now, cannot read properly, apply of undefined. Never seen that before. Oh, maybe I just clicked somewhere weird. I got a green tick now, so I must have done something strange. Now, if you want to actually rename your page, we're just going to close this little window here, and we're going to click on the cog again, and we're just going to rename. Okay, so it's going to be, what was it, resources? Okay, so we're just going to rename it like that. Okay, and that's what's going to appear in your menu. So when we turn that on in the navigation, you see that that's where it appears then. Okay, so just again be quite conservative with that, because that's actually your menu link, so it needs to be short, sharp and sweet. Okay, so there you go, and you can just go through and edit to your heart's content, add sections, take sections away, whatever you want to do. If it is something that you just, like I say, maybe it was a new wedding package, you can literally just, change all the text and the images and leave the layout. So that's typically why you would copy a page and not create a new page. Now, when you're done and you're ready to go live, the reason I'm actually, sorry, just to clarify that, the reason I'm telling you to do this SEO stuff first is it's because people always forget it. And it's very, very important. So I always say, do this first. If by the time you've typed out your page and you've written all your contact and you're like, it's not really that applicable, you can come back and change this at any time. But if your website got published without this having any information in it, that is not good. Okay, the SEO is really important, that it's all there all the time, consistent across your website. So this is, even if it's not 100% on par, you've done it first, you've got something in there. So when you publish a page, if in a week you realize that you didn't actually, oh damn, I didn't go back and do that properly, at least there's something there that's relevant to what your SEO for the page should be. So that's why I'm telling you to do this first. Once you've done that, and we're going to go back and we're going to say show and all. Okay, so it's going to put that back in the navigation. And anywhere here, you can just kind of click anywhere to get out of that. And just click the little one there. And then I want this up under, I'm going to put this up in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag it, and I drag it up, and then I just drag it in and let it go. And there it is. So now you'll see it's in here. Okay, and because I'm on this page, that's what's highlighted. So that's pretty easy. If you decide you want to add a new page altogether, actually, let's just delete that first. I'm going to delete it. Deleting is not undoable. So if you delete it, yep, it's gone. Okay. Yes, I do want to delete it. Okay, and if I want to make a new page altogether, I'm literally going to click new page, and then I have choices here. So I can start with kind of set layouts, contact page, services, project, which could be, like if your wedding planner, a landing page. Be very aware with landing pages though. Like if you don't have a good understanding of landing pages, be very aware, because if someone comes to a landing page, if they don't take action, it's very hard for them to get anywhere else, because typically landing pages pages don't have menus. A lot of people don't realize that. So you create a landing page, and what you're actually doing is you're funneling people from some other way, system or process to this page. And if you do create it as a landing page, you're tracking, effectively you're tracking how well that advertising is working. So how well that process is working, how well that sales funnel, how well that's Facebook advertising, how well that Instagram tracking. So you're creating a landing page for the sole purpose of someone coming to your website for a specific reason. Typically, you track landing pages. Like Coke has a new ad campaign, and it's, you know, Be the Bubbles, or whatever. So their landing page, Be the Bubbles, you can't find that landing page unless you've seen one of those advertisements. So that's how you come to this page. So they can track where you came from, what advertising channel's working, what isn't. But typically, the action you need to take is very specific to that page, and there aren't menus. So once you're on that page, it's very, if you're not experienced with landing pages, like I know to just go to home and take the end of the URL out, and I can get back to where I'm going. But a lot of people don't understand that. So if you do a landing page, be 100% sure it's for a reason, because if people just land there generically, they can't get out. Like it's tricky. So be very aware of those. And you can also create a folder, which would be if you wanted to have file uploads or something like that. So the blank page is literally a blank page. That going to leave that for now. That's a little bit more interesting. But you can see they've got standardized things for portfolios, restaurant, contact us services, things like that. So if we just created a blank page, for example, I'm just going to leave it because I'm going to delete it anyway. Okay, and you're going to see it's going to create just with your header and your footer and a blank space in the middle. Let me just get rid of that. And this is where you would add your information in. Now you can see it's because our home page has a bigger header, but our standard pages do not. So if we just go to this one, I see I've actually made that in there. That's not in the header. You can see as I move in here, you can see that's header. And that's generic because I changed this for every page, so I don't want this showing on every page. So your header is going to show on every page exactly as it is. So that's why I've made this new row here. So like I say, I could actually just copy this page and go again, but my new page is literally just going to have my header and my footer, and I completely go from there. And again, it's relatively easy. You can just come in here and you can add anything you want to your row, or you can actually add a new section. Sections I find it easier. So you could add a section, and then you're going to go features. It's going to be something, a new product. I'm just going to pick something. Oh, let's just say it's this new smartwatch. We click that, it loads this in, and it just asks us to save or cancel or save and add another. So we're just going to save that. And then we can edit from here. We can change the pictures and we can kind of do all the things we want. But you can see there's your header, there's your footer, and this is now the only section in there. So if you want to add just a blank row, you can click your row and add, and row above. It's always row above for some reason. But if this is the row, let's just say we're going to put our heading in there just to show you how quick this is to do. Page. And if you want to center it, you have to highlight the text first. By default. And that had a different, that row had a different background color. I can't remember what it was, so I'm hoping it's on my little color list here. I reckon it was that. No, that's too dark. That'll do for now. We're not keeping it, doesn't matter. Okay, just cross all these to get out. And then I can go again here. So then when I come down the bottom, sorry, I'm just going to click out of there, I can add another section here. So I can add a specific section, or I can just add a blank row and do whatever I want. So it's pretty easy. So, I think I've showed you most of that anyway. But yeah, so I'm going to cancel that. I don't want that. And I'm just going to go back to my pages, and I'm going to delete this page because I don't want it. Yes. Okay, so that's how easy it is. So you literally just come in. If you've got an existing page that you pretty much want to replicate, you just go to the settings, duplicate, rename it, put all your SEO information in, make your page name appropriate, and then edit your content. Just remembering to hide it in navigation until you're ready to publish it. Okay, that's it. Done.